Hey, everybody, it's Roddy Piper. Thanks for downloading Piper's Pit. Before we get started today, I need to tell you about DDP Yoga. My friend, Diamond Dallas Page, created DDP Yoga. He was always the guy looking for the best and fastest way to recover from an injury, and he was always doing everything he could to take care of himself outside the ring. And when he found out what yoga did for his overall health, he made a commitment to share it with everybody. And that's how come there's DDP Yoga. And now he's helped transform the lives of thousands of people around the world. And he can do the same for you. If you want to try DDP Yoga, here is your chance. Diamond Dallas Page is offering my listeners a great deal on the Max Pack. Yeah, it's 15 workouts that anyone can do. It's got a nutritional guide, a meal planner, and a downloadable MP3 workout. Just go to ddpyoga.com/Piper. That's ddpyoga.com/Piper to take advantage of a special offer only available to my listeners. One more time now, ddpyoga.com/Piper. You can also go to podcast1.com, click on the Keep Our Podcast Free banner, and then click on Piper's Pit. It'll take you straight to DDP Yoga. Yeah! Well, it's fun time again. Piper's Pit. Good Lord, I got in so much trouble doing this Piper's Pit. How y'all doing? Yeah? Good. Any of you get locked up over the weekend? Yeah? Just the guys from the WWE. No, they're squeaky clean now. Before I get started today, I need to ask you to please, you got to check out my sponsors, okay? Because that's the reason I get to do this podcast every week, and it's free for everybody. You just go to the podcast1.com, click on the Keep Our Podcast Free banner, and then click on Piper's Pit. There's all kinds of sponsors there. And if you go to Amazon and you click on it, and the banner on Piper's Pit on Amazon, it doesn't cost you anything, but Amazon kicks back to the show. Keeps the show, some little bit of money, keeps the show going. That way I don't have to charge anybody. You get it for free. We all have a great time. And so just so you know, again, Amazon links at podcast1.com, podcastone.com, and you click Keep Our Podcasts Free. Free again, thank God Almighty. We are free again banner at the top of the page, and click the Piper's Pit. This show for me is pretty cool. And I'll tell you in a second who I've got in the studio. It's really cool. His dad and I, this gentleman here, who's an extremely accomplished man. His dad and I don't know how many times I fought his dad right here in Los Angeles at the Olympic Auditorium. It's I'm going to tell you about that. But, more than that, I fought his grandfather. I was 2, and, his grandfather, his name was Gory Guerrero. Holy cow. You mention this name any place, and everybody knows. I don't know how many halls of fame. I don't know. And then his son, Chavo Guerrero, took up the legacy from Gory. And, I'm sure Gory looking down would be so proud of Chavo. And then Chavo Guerrero had Chavo Jr., and that's who I have in the studio today. Ladies and gentlemen, Chavo Jr. Guerrero.
Hey, what's going on, Roddy? Great to be here, man. Again, this is awesome.
Yeah, I love you. You last second, I was started to think about who would I want on the podcast? And I'm thinking of your family. Sure. I saw the Chavo, and then I remembered you're here.
Yeah.
And this is going to be an endless podcast. When do you come in with memory from a young guy? Where do you come in?
You know what? I remember pretty much everything, man.
That's too bad.
I still got a decent memory. I've been hit on the head, but it's not as much as you guys did. But I remember my dad. One of my first memories of him wrestling was, of course, over the border in Juarez, Mexico, from El Paso, and always growing up with the wrestling and stuff. But I remember that we had to move from El Paso, Texas, when I was 5 years old in 1975, to Los Angeles because my father started wrestling for a promotion out here, and I didn't really know. I just remember Michael Bell, the name.
Gotcha. You were alive then?
1975. Yeah, I was born in 70. Come on.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, man. I look young, but I feel as old as dirt.
No, man, you're great.
But I remember that. I remember and going to the Olympic Auditorium and stuff, and we're going to touch more on that later because I got some stuff to tell you that you don't even know about. And I remember moving and living in Huntington Beach in an apartment because it was supposed to be for 6 months only. Yeah. My parents kept their house in El Paso, Texas. Their brand new $13,000 house. It was brand new. Yeah,
I'm proud of it, man.
Yeah, and they kept that until I remember when they really decided, okay, we're going to stay because it's going so well here. Yeah. It was supposed to be for 6 months, and I remember them being in their apartment, our little 2-bedroom apartment, and my grandfather was living in the apartment too, in the living room, and because he was down here wrestling too.
Yeah.
And I remember them selling their house and getting so excited because they sold their house in El Paso, and I didn't realize that was. But now I realize that's the reason we ended up staying. We ended up going and searching to buy a new house, and they ended up buying a house in Fountain Valley, like Huntington Beach area.
Nice.
And they spent, it was a 3,000 square foot house, beautiful, beautiful home. And it was $85,000. So it went from $13,000, and my mom was like, "We're going to go under. There's no way we can afford this house." $85,000. Can you believe
big
that?
Money in 75.
Yeah. Oh gosh, heck yeah, right?
Yeah,
especially what they were paying you guys. You know what I mean?
A lot of $25 paydays.
Wow,
a lot of $25.
Then after the gas and stuff.
Yeah,
and get your cars broken into. I remember those.
You remember?
Oh,
those?
Yeah.
One time,
they had to keep replacing the 8-tracks in our Dodge van.
That's right. Your father had the van,
the red van with the diamond windows.
Absolutely.
Remember that? And
I'm trying not to, but I do now that you're here.
Yeah, the Stevie Wonder and the 8-track and the Stevie Wonder and the what was the other ones? Then they throw in like all the old like
Willie Nelson.
Vicente Fernandez for you. They start going. And you're going. What the hell is this?
Holy cow! I was with your dad, and you got the boat.
Yeah, the boat.
Yeah.
The Red Dog Saloon.
The Red Dog Saloon
in Needles, California. It's still there.
It's still there?
It's still there.
I had some great fights there.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And one time, I think it was the first time that your dad, your uncle Mondo, myself, and Red Bastine.
Yeah.
So we're in Needles, California. It's got this beautiful river and like, for those don't know, like high rocks, and it's just like beautiful for water skiing. And as we're going there, Red Bastine says, "I don't know about getting in the boat." I says, "What's wrong, Red?" We used to call him Rojo. And Chavo, like, "What's wrong?" And Mondo was really, Mondo's beautiful.
And you guys have anybody doesn't know Red Bastine, he was older. He was generation really older than you guys.
Yeah.
And he'd been around already, known everybody.
Good point. He was the best man at my wedding.
Really?
Red Bastine.
I remember Red. I totally remember Red. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And he was like from the Gorgeous George era.
Yes.
So as we're going down, but Red says, "Listen, I'm not water skiing because I can't swim." And, it's okay, it's cool. We got you. You got a life vest. Yeah, but I can't, All right, so away we go. So, I'm water skiing. Mondo's water skiing. It's Chavo's turn to water ski, right? So Mondo's driving. Just like Mondo drives.
Oh, yeah.
And your dad, Chavo's on the water skis, and Chavo's goes down. And so Mondo sees your dad's down, does a really hard turn with the boat, and Red Bastine fell in the water. Now, I'm the only man on earth who saw the rest. Your Uncle Mondo and Red Bastien, he went down under the water, and he had a hat, and he's not coming up. And Mondo, it must have taken him, trying not to exaggerate, about 20 seconds of slipping on the boards down, blood from the knee, crawling with his teeth, dove in the water for the save, and Red Bastien comes up, spits water over his mouth, and puts his hat on. He was in the Navy. Baby Jesus, back to the Red Dog Saloon.
And that was, they had a jet boat back in the 70s, jet boat that was just barely over the water, and it was like a front seat and a little bit of a back seat, and the engine right there, a big old Ford Cobra engine that was like the old 70s jet boat. So there was no room. I constantly burned myself on that damn engine.
Yeah, but what a boat!
I could have. Oh yeah, that thing moved.
What a boat! The Red Dog Saloon.
The Red Dog Saloon,
and it's still there.
It's still there. I still pass it, and I take pictures of it, and I send it to my dad.
And what does he say?
He's like, "Oh man, I had good times at that time."
Yeah.
Now I'm going to show you a picture.
All right.
Okay. I just hooked up with these guys, and do you remember the name? He was a photographer at the Olympic Auditorium named Theo Ehret. He was the main photographer for years and years and years at the Olympic Auditorium. Well, I hooked up with these guys that own all of his pictures from boxing, from wrestling, from everything. And they sent me this. It was a picture of my father. I'm showing him with the America's title.
Holy cow.
Remember that guy?
Chavo, looking great with the America's title on him. Whoa, he looks great, man.
Flip it over one. If you flip, or maybe the other way. As you see Mondo. Uncle Mondo, too, right there.
Okay, yeah. So folks, the first one was Chavo Guerrero, I don't know, maybe 26, with the America's title on. Mondo, how old would Mondo be?
Mondo's a year younger than my dad.
Than your dad, okay.
So he's like 25.
A year younger than your dad.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? When you said your dad, I see how it's Gory? Yeah. He's a year younger than Gory?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh, your grandfather.
Yeah, right,
gotcha.
right.
Yeah, Mondo, he was a go-getter. He looks great. He looks
right.
Great.
Well, now the thing with the Olympic Auditorium. Now this was a arena that was built in like 1932 for the 1932 Olympics. So,
is that why it was built?
Yeah, but for the Olympics, for boxing and wrestling in the Olympics, and judo and the stuff that they had there. But it was as for today's standards of arenas, wasn't that big, but that was the place in L.A. And I have people still to this day, when they find out who I am, and if they don't know me, they know my father or they know my grandfather, and they still talk about the Guerreros and the Roddy Piper feud. I'm not kidding you. I probably 10 or 15 every year come up to me and tell me, "Hey, I used to watch your dad at the Olympic Auditorium." I just was with Mark Sanchez, the quarterback for the Jets. I think now he's at Philadelphia. His older brothers were like, "Oh my God, Chavo Guerrero! I used to watch your dad at the Olympic Auditorium."
For those of you that don't know the Olympic Auditorium, there was this huge steel door you opened up to go down the stairs into the dressing room. I'm not kidding you. It was like the Roman Colosseum. There was huge pipes with dripping water and rats. And as you went
like the catacombs down there.
Catacombs is perfect word for it.
Right.
It's just like it was an entrance of a hole in the catacombs. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm closer to school than I am. And, you'd pick your catacomb and your casket. And, it was brutal. It was brutal.
I remember seeing you guys and you and Crusher Verdue and Red Shoes Dugan.
Oh,
I loved him.
He was great. He was a policeman in Santa Monica.
And I remember seeing all you guys and these all these different dressing rooms. There was a bunch of different little dressing rooms that fit maybe 2 or 3 or 4 people in each one. There was a couple of bigger ones, but I remember you guys always had the last one in the corner, that little small one in the corner. Right. I remember that. So these guys were these. If you guys don't know wrestling back then, wrestling was the Wild West. 100%. Wrestling now is grand and as grandeur as it is with the pyro and how big Vince McMahon has really made it.
Pretty colors.
It's really incredible. It's awesome. But those guys back in Roddy's day, they were the toughest guys on the planet. And I this is not even exaggerating, and I say that 100% truth. These guys were so tough. When I tell people the stories that you guys, that just the stories that I know, and I know like maybe one teeny fraction of these stories.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. Nobody believes me. Nobody believes me.
Really?
Nobody. In fact, I'll talk to you later about that. We're talking to some producers stuff over here in Hollywood because people they freak out because of these stories, and these are 100% true stories. With these wrestlers were so. They were so tough, and they're on the road 24/7 and just traveling from one place to another, fighting fans and fighting each other. And
fighting fans.
Yeah, I mean, they would fight their way out of the back from the ring and then get into the dressing room and have to sneak out the dressing room window and then have to run to their car 2 blocks down because if they had to hide their car because if someone sees their car they would egg and stone their car and vandalize the car.
They'd break beer bottles and put them under the tires, so if you backed up or went forward, boom, your tire's gone.
Yeah.
Holy cow. And then Mike LaBelle, who's not with us anymore, but the aisle going down, the people, they had popcorn boxes, and they'd have a knife, and they'd stick the knife into the popcorn boxes, and they would be on the seats right next to the aisle. And as you come down, they would pull the knife out and slice you back, and then they'd go into the crowd, and you couldn't get them. So one time, I can't remember who, Leo Garibaldi went to the promoter, Mike LaBelle, and said, hey, you need to take these chairs out here, because the fans are stabbing the wrestlers. And Mike LaBelle says, well, that's what they pay for. And they stayed in.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's what they paid for, all right?
Wow.
I remember, too, holy cow. There's going to be so many. So your grandpa came in, so it must have been close to the time that you said your grandpa and grandma moved here into Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And so
I think, no, he came down for 1 year before and stayed here with my dad. I don't know, was he the booker yet?
Chavo?
Maybe close to, not yet. Okay. Well, then he came down and you know, they, of course, one Guerrero goes, we all go. You know how that goes. But he came down, and that's when he just lived on our couch, basically, for like about a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we did this thing where, you know, I mean, Gory Guerrero, he's like royalty. You didn't, seriously, and the guy earned it. And so we did this thing where Gory, I was wrestling, I think it was Chavo, Armando, and Hector, too.
Hector,
I forgot.
Yeah, Hector was there, too.
And I did this thing where I slapped Gory. I broke his eardrum. I felt horrible, but like, there's Chavo, Mondo, Hector. I'm okay. So, but you know, it worked. So, you know, all of a sudden, there's a whole bunch of people have come to see me get my butt kicked, and it was a 6-man tag. Okay, all right. So there's Hector, Chavo, and Mondo in one corner. There's me, Crusher Voodoo, and I think it was the Hangman in another corner. What Mike LaBelle did, he totally on the shoot and didn't let anybody know. Flew your grandma in, and now we're all in the ring, and Grandma comes up, and she handmade, like, ponchos?
Okay.
Was it? I mean, handmade these beautiful clothes, got in the ring. They put them on. They're sobbing. There's tears coming. I'm looking like, boys, we're going to die. And I spent 15 minutes in the air. I was going to give them my frequent flyer number. Oh, baby.
In a predominantly Hispanic crowd in L.A., that the show was on channel 52.
RI 95171.
Yeah, Richmond 95171. That's right. That's right.
Oh, man.
And we're not just royalty in like El Paso, Texas, but you come here in LA and another royalty. We're playing towards the Hispanic crowd, and that's what, you know, Mike LaBelle got.
Yeah.
And that's what we're missing right now is in all of wrestling and all of Hollywood entertainment is really playing to the Hispanic people because it's so big. It's
huge.
I just found out a not to get off the subject, but that the Hispanics this year are spending $1.4 trillion into the economy, and $1 trillion of it is to entertainment.
I'm taking Spanish lessons.
Yes.
Which that's is not Spanish if not the second or first language of the earth? Is it?
I'm not sure. But I know here in the United States, the number 1 and 2 networks are not NBC, CBS, Fox. They're Galavisión and Univision. That's the number 1 networks in the as far as viewers. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Yeah. We're taking it back, brother. But we're not just taking it back like Texas.
Alamo.
We're not just taking back Texas and Nevada. We're taking it all.
I love it too.
Hey, didn't you not only break my grandfather's eardrums, but break his ribs too?
You knew that too. Huh?
Yeah. Did you break his ribs?
I just cracked it.
Now, how old were you when they were wrestling? Somebody I was 26, 27, 28.
19, 20, 21.
Wow, you were that young, huh?
Yeah, because I started working. I worked. Started in Winnipeg. Just had a first match there. Went to the Maritimes to Texas, Upper Amarillo, then down to Dallas, back to the Maritimes, Montreal. I'm missing a couple. Kansas City, a couple more over to Japan, and then to L.A. And this is where I got my first break. Have I ever? Do you know the story?
I know some of the story. All I know is from my dad and them saying that if you weren't a pro wrestler, you could have been a comedian or a motivational speaker. Or
anything
whatever.
but a wrestler.
Yeah, because they said you were so. I mean, you came in, you were tough as nails, and you were so charismatic and the biggest heel in the whole territory. And I even asked my dad one time, I was like, hey, how was Roddy? Was he a good wrestler? He's like, hell no. He goes, he could knock you out though. He would knock you. He'd kick your butt. He would knock you out. He goes, but as far as wrestling, he got he was pretty. He was okay.
He had a hold, I think.
yeah. He said, but he was a brawler. He said he would. Roddy would just knock you out.
One time, holy cow! I did an interview. I went to Tijuana. Let me just set that up.
Like L.A. wasn't enough Mexicans. And now you got to go to Tijuana.
Of course. And as I got to Tijuana, the most of it's a blackout. But there were moments of sobriety. I saw a donkey with a sombrero on him and black lines painted, and he looked like a zebra donkey. And all the Americans would get on top of the donkey, and, it was like a tourist thing. But not to Rod.
You saw
dinero. I got this donkey into the Olympic Auditorium. I never told nobody because I didn't want to know. And I got a sombrero, and I had a T-shirt on that said, Conquistadors of the Guerreros.
Yeah, Conqueror of the Guerreros.
Yes, sir.
I remember that T-shirt.
Do you remember it?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, I'm sitting on the donkey with a stick and a string and a carrot doing this conquistador, all right? The president of the network, he was going to shut us down. Mike LaBelle, all over. He says, Mike LaBelle says, you need to get on there and apologize, whatever you did. A lot of heat, okay? So Jimmy Lennon, that young Jimmy Lennon folks you may see in MMA or boxing fights. Yep. It was his dad who saved my life. I'll tell later.
Talking about talk the same. They're spitting images of each other, right?
No, yeah,
I see Jimmy Lennon Jr. doing his interviews, and I see his dad.
It's his dad. Yeah, even his projection, the way he announces.
Right.
I'm coming down one time, and I'll come back to that story with the donkey. I'm coming down the aisleway of 1,000 cuts, I guess, to the ring, and there was some kind of commotion. I didn't understand what was going on, and this is so. I had the match. I finished. I come back. The cop said, "Come here." They brought me to the office, and there was a .45 semi-automatic, and they showed me a bullet, and it had my name written on it. And when I was coming down, Jimmy Lennon, who used to be the senior, used to be a boxer and a fine man. He saw what was happening, and he jumped onto the floor from the apron, and the guy was going, get out of the way, and he was pretending whatever and gave a high sign, and the police got in there and got this guy. I didn't know what was going on, and there was a bullet with my name on it. Jimmy Lennon wouldn't move.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call heat.
Ooh.
It's something that is not really around anymore as much, but that is what you called heat.
You know what? I got to breathe, and I'm going to tell you about the donkey, okay?
All right.
Give me a space.
Hey everybody, I'm Karen Bryant. Check out the Karen Bryant podcast at podcast1.com. It's finally here. It is a behind-the-scenes look at the world's fastest-growing sport, and that is MMA. I'm going to have interviews, analysis, lots of humor with some of the biggest names and the rising stars in the sport. Listen, if you're already a super fan, or even if you're just looking to learn more about the sport, download new episodes of the Karen Bryant podcast every Friday at podcast1.com. That's podcastone.com.
I still can't help myself. So we're here with the great Chavo Guerrero Jr., who was one of the greatest wrestlers in history for what he's done, and a great man. And we are getting the chance to... I never really sat down with Chavo Jr. many times. You know, I saw him as a kid, and then, of course, watched his performing, and... but like in a situation where he's all grown up and I can talk man-to-man with him. So I'm so proud to have you here,
Hey,
Chavo.
man, so great to be here. Yeah. Man, and Rod, you're like not just a mentor to me, but like a father figure in a sense also, for sure.
You
Absolutely,
I'd
man.
be there for you.
Yeah.
So, the bagpipes come out. And so... when I left you, so I'm sitting on a donkey, Conquistador of the Guerreros on my T-shirt, a kilt, a sombrero over the ears of the donkey, stick, string, carrot, basically saying, you guys, you'll just follow carrots, I'm white, I'm great.
Yeah, so good.
All right, President comes down, get the white guy out of here. Please, please, please. So I go on TV because Wednesdays was television in the Olympic Auditorium. And there used to be this black gal, an older lady, really nice, and she would be like right dead center.
The chicken lady.
What's
her name? What was her name?
Oh.
Gabrielle Rose. What was her name?
Gabrielle. No.
Gabriella.
Oh. We call her the chicken lady. And she had a chicken and go, Roddy Piper, you nothing but a chicken. You a chicken.
I remember her.
You remember her.
How could you not? For every show, she was right there.
Right at the hard cap.
That's right.
Geraldine,
that sounds very... Geraldine. I think it was Geraldine.
Boy, we're starting to remember the fans' names.
I know. I think it was Geraldine.
Okay, so we do television in the Olympic Auditorium on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And all those television matches we would plug for the live house show the Friday coming up. So I needed to apologize. And in Spanish, the word for bagpipes is gaita. And, I tail between my legs. I said, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say anything. Yeah, okay, all right. So I get in the ring, and the great Jimmy Lennon is there.
Now, is this like the next week after you did that?
Yeah, yes. This is the
Meanwhile, I'm sure the place is sold out.
Yeah, we got
Everybody's there to see you get your butt kicked.
Absolutely. Oh, baby Jesus. So I told Jimmy Lennon, I was so sincere, would you please ask the Mexican people to rise for the Mexican national anthem? I didn't know what I was saying. It's like you could have heard a pin drop. People are standing hand over heart.
Absolutely, man. That's
babies. I mean, like Mother Teresa. It's just like this. Jimmy Lennon brings the microphone down to the chanter. That's where the fingers move on the bagpipes. And I played. The little cockroach.
Cucaracha.
here they come.
I bet.
Holy cow, one of the best riots. One of the best. It was your dad. And he goes, amigo, you're on your own. Oh, man.
Wow.
Oh, but it was a hell of a house. It got over. I got beat. I had 5 hair matches with your family. I had a loser leaves. If you lose, you get your hair cut, right? So I was with Chavo. I lost, got my hair cut. I'll go with Mondo. I lost, got my stubs cut. Hector, keep cutting, boys. It ain't growing anymore. And here's a story that you might not know from there. It was when Muhammad Ali was going to wrestle Antonio Inoki.
Yep.
And I was on the card in the second match or whatever because, Judo Gene.
Judo Gene, yeah. Gene LaBelle. Judo Gene LaBelle, famous Judo Gene LaBelle, toughest man in the entire world.
And not according to him, according to everyone else. He trained Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris. I mean, whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
According to Steven Seagal. What? We won't go there.
Yeah, man. And you know what? Steven I know Uncle Gene's got a gag order, so he's never told me anything.
Yeah, sure.
But Seagal, for you, it's worth it, huh? This was worth it. Take the pause.
Sure.
We love Judo Gene LaBelle's like our dad. And he's also a stunt man and one of the greatest judo players, hookers, whatever you want to call him. And he's got a beautiful heart. And he's on the set with Steven. And I guess Steven Seagal, who is good at what he does, the style like
Aikido.
What is it?
Aikido.
Yeah,
I believe so. But don't quote me on that.
Yeah. But he's a bully.
Uh-huh.
And there were some of the stuntmen where, hey, I'm giving you your body, and he's taking advantage of it.
Yep.
And during the process, he was something like, nobody could ever sneak up on me or nobody. And I don't know if it was I don't think it was put me to sleep, whatever the brag was. And Uncle Gene, allegedly, all of a sudden, Uncle Gene's behind him. Boom, down. And Uncle Gene, when he allegedly does his sleeper, he knows how to make him loaf. He knows how to make him poop. Boom, choom, Seagal down. Pooped his drawers. When Uncle Gene went away. And then Seagal, he came around and went back to the dressing room, and he had him taken out. He fired him.
Well, I understand that Seagal's got to keep his spot. But you can't. There's always somebody who's got your number. I don't care who you are, where you're at.
Yes, sir.
There's always somebody better than you. Always.
And especially our business.
Oh, gosh, for sure.
So, like...
hey, real quick, you one time the America's title was the heavyweight championship here in the WWA here in Los Angeles at the Olympic Auditorium. So of course, my dad's the champ. He's the booker. He's the champ. Well, he loses to Roddy. So Roddy takes the backing of the belt off and puts it into like a plaid into the tartan, the plaid backing. So now the belt is on the plaid. It's like a plaid belt now. That was like the first, when they first would, do the Stone Cold belt or the John Cena belt, whatever. Well, Roddy, they first did the Roddy Piper belt. It was the same metal, but just on, like on the tartan. Well, then after my dad wanted it back, I got the backing of it. They put it back onto the red felt, and made it look all red velvet, crushed velvet, make it look all prestigious. And I got the tartan back, like the backing. So I had a belt with no actual metal on it.
Yeah.
But it had the snaps in the back and everything. And I used to wear that like it was my belt all the time.
It's so cool.
Can you believe that?
That's so cool. So that's where that went.
That's where that went.
Wow.
Yeah.
We had so much liberty in that. I mean, there was nothing you couldn't. If you had the balls to try, you could do it. I had one time where Leo Garibaldi, you go to Melnick Hall in UCLA. They've got reel to reel, and you can watch it frame by frame. I used to spend hours in there, and you can see Leo Garibaldi. You may not know this name. When he was 16, 17 years old, he was a huge star. His father and his uncle Chuck Garibaldi, Warren Bockwinkel, Nick Bockwinkel's dad.
Yeah.
You know, and I used to sit and watch him, and it was leading me to something, and I forgot.
What was Nick's brother's name? Bockwinkel?
Warren. No, Nick's brother. No,
he was
the referee.
The referee. What's his name? I remember the mustache. I remember.
Yeah.
Nick and Bob.
Bob, maybe?
Bob, I forget.
Bob Bockwinkel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He should have been if he wasn't.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob Bockwinkel.
Yeah, Bob Bockwinkel.
But, doggone it, what was I going to tell you?
So you're talking about the Leo Garibaldi and how talented he was, and going to the UCLA Center. And
yes. Thank you.
See?
Glad you're here.
A couple less bumps in the head. A couple less. About 30 years less.
I tell you. And them football players think they got concussions.
Yeah,
they ain't got shit. So they had me do this thing where now I'm on the air with Adrian Adonis, who at that time was Keith Frankie. And we were going as a tag team called the 22s. So because we were both 22 at the time.
Gotcha.
So that's around the age.
22. Wow.
Yeah.
Young.
Oh, baby Jesus. So
with men in the ring with Haystack Calhoun and men that were superstar Billy Graham, Harley Race, guys that will kill you.
Ooh.
Yes.
And so Garibaldi, I was going to tell you how I got my first break. So let me stick with that, and I'll go to Adrian in a second.
Okay, gotcha.
So I come in the territory, and Leo Garibaldi's looking at me. And I'm about maybe 170 pounds with a kilt, bagpipes, in a Hispanic, and I'm a babyface. And I go down, and I play all around the ring. I get in. Everybody's going, when's he finished?
Yeah. This sucks.
This
When is this going to be over?
Bring
this
out
is
the
horrible.
wrestlers. Yes.
I know how much I've heard that too. By the way, that's the only reason I know that. I was like, wait, what are you talking about? Performing, I'm kicking my butt in here for you, and you're telling me this sucks?
Work with
Come
me.
on, jeez.
So Leo Garibaldi, it was Wednesday on television. He comes up to me and says, "Kid, I'm going to give you a break." And no, the only break I've had is my toes, my hands, my legs.
Your nose.
And okay. And he says, I want you to go in the ring. The guy's name was Java Rook. And he went as a sheik, and had the daisy curtains on his head for a robe. Johnny Rods.
Johnny Rods. There you go.
Johnny Rods out of New York.
Right. Yep.
It was a Puerto Rican sheik. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Work with us here. Stay with us. Okay. So Leo Garibaldi says to me, I want you to go in the ring. Don't lay a glove on him. I want you to let him kick the stuffings out of you as long as he wants to, and he walks away. Okay, another rib.
Yeah.
Isn't this fun? I go in there, and Java Rook had no problem with it.
Yeah, sure.
He beat me, pulled me up when he pinned me on two, beat me some more, spit on me, and he had those boots like the Iron Sheik with little camel toes, And even bad enough where he went outside to jump higher on me, and the little thing on the end of the toe got caught in the rope, which made him stumble, and his knee went into my ribs, and boy, I'm just having fun here. And the match is finished. I get back to the dressing room, not a word, everybody gone. So it's like, they used to take advantage a lot of a young guy, and whatever. And come back next Wednesday for TV. Leo Garibaldi, they had a commercial back then. It was on huge billboards, and it was a cowboy, and his right eye had been punched. It was like black and blue. And I don't know, Camel, we'll just say Camel cigarettes. And the ad was, because he got into a fight, I'd rather fight than switch. Leo Garibaldi had a T-shirt for me that said, I'd rather switch than fight. And he made me Java Rook's manager and a chicken eel.
Nice.
Genius. And then, on any given card, I was like a referee. I was in the tag. I was, and it was a 22-foot ring.
I know the 22 footers, which is guys.
Pack a lunch.
WWE is 20 foot, and like WCW and TNA were 18, and those 2 extra feet on each side.
Oh,
it's massive, huge.
Massive. You can order lunch crisscrossing.
And so what that means for wrestlers is that we get more tired running back. We hit the ropes and running back and forth, and it's like it blows you up.
Brutal and hard.
Yeah.
We the old joke. I wonder what year they poured this in.
Right.
I was like, really hard, really hard. That's how I got my first break, and then I got to give credit where credit's due. Again, I learned so much from Leo Garibaldi, but I learned the words from Leo. I learned how to do it from your dad. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, we started to work a program, your dad and I, and it was off slapping your grandpa. And went in there, 20-minute time limit. I kind of give me some grace here. 20-minute time limit, went the distance. Came back next week, 40-minute time limit, went the distance. Came back next week, 60-minute time limit, went 60 minutes. Now, your dad had a lot more experience than me. If it wasn't for your dad, 60 minutes, I don't care who you are.
It's a long
time, brother. And you learn how to wrestle about the 37-minute mark when you can't find any oxygen.
That's right.
I know because there was oxygen when I got there.
That's right.
You'd lay in a hole, and then your dad would start to talk to me. And I've never told this story except for in your dad's book. And, we got along so good. He would talk to me, and I don't know how many Broadways we did, but it was your dad that really helped me become a villain, a heel, whatever you want to say, and talk about the crash course and the amount of attention they gave me was something that not even back in that day very often happened. It was unbelievable.
I see it and they gave you that. A lot of times they'll give you the ball, and if you fumble, then you fumble and you're out. Yeah. Well, with you, you ran with it, and if you guys are listening, and those of you that know, and those of you that don't know, Roddy is one of the best of all times on the mic, entertainer, and he's one of the absolute best. And honing your skills out there. You just look at the heat that you had. I remember the heat that you had in back then when you were 22 years old and still didn't know what the heck you were doing. You know what I mean? And now all of a sudden you get to no wonder WrestleMania 1 and 2 and 5 and 10 and everything you've been there to have sold them all out.
It's
the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah, a lot of people from that Olympic auditorium, and you know what? Some of the best days too. Some of the most fun days.
Oh yeah,
I got one for you. I'm pretty sure you weren't there for this one. Mondo, I think he was getting married, and they were throwing a bachelor party for him.
All right.
This ought to kill my show. And so, we're going through the...
Or kill his marriage. Yeah. Oh, no, that got killed a long time ago.
So, we got tequila and Mondo and doing everything. Mondo, yeehaw! I can't remember the name of that one policeman that was there. There was a cop in uniform that, took care of us. And we got his handcuffs. I didn't. Somebody got his handcuffs and just handcuffed Mondo to the rope. And then they said, and Mondo, you're going to get serviced. And the next thing you know, I come marching down with playing my bagpipes naked. and Mondo's looking, and his eyes are bigger than saucers, and they put a blindfold on him. Now, he's fighting, and boom, and I get literally to his leg. And I go, oh, man, and we switch. I've never seen a woman get kicked so many times.
Oh, a woman came in and switched?
Yeah, we switched.
Oh, wow.
Amigo, I love him.
Yeah. No, it's
And like, holy cow, just, you might not find that fun. That's Mondo was great. Mondo was great. Hector was the youngest.
He's the youngest, yeah.
And when you wrestled
before
Hector,
Eddie, I mean, he was older than Eddie, but Eddie was still. Me and Eddie were still kids.
Gotcha.
He was the youngest wrestler at the time. Yeah.
Gotcha. And he had a career. He was just very pure.
Yeah.
Very honest.
Sure.
Just very pure, and it was fun to work with Hector. It was fun to work with the whole family.
Hey, still to this day, he's like that. He's got a great demeanor, just so nice guy.
Is he teaching school?
He's teaching school, but he's also he's an announcer for TNA. He's the Spanish announcer for there too. He's been there
outstanding.
Yeah. So he's doing okay there.
Okay, so here we go. So we've been talking about the Olympic Auditorium, and there's 10,000 more stories I'm trying to edit here.
Yeah, right.
But all right, and then comes Eddie and Chavo Jr.
Right.
Now, where was Eddie born?
Now, Eddie was born in El Paso and grew up in El Paso.
And grew up in El Paso.
I was born in El Paso also, El Paso, Texas, but moved out here in when I was 5 because my father started to get that job here at the Olympic Auditorium. So
now, was Eddie older than you?
He was, 3 years older than me.
Okay.
3 years. So we grew up as brothers, literally as brothers. Even though, so my dad, Eddie was born when my dad was 18.
Gotcha.
And then my dad had me at 21. So we'd always say that Eddie was a late mistake and I was the early mistake. Early mistake.
He loved
my
us.
dad used to call me the BRK, the busted rubber kid. That's growing up in the Guerrero family how we got it. It was no sympathy. It was like, hey, BRK, get over there.
No, I'll be honest, there was no sympathy.
No, it was tough. It was hard knocks.
You came up hard. Your dad, your grandfather was the kind of man that it doesn't matter how much he hurt. He was a gentleman, and his face was game face there, perfect in every. Always a gentleman,
shaved and hair done, and all perfect. Yeah, always.
Perfect.
Yep.
And that's why him with his wrestling skills got such high esteem, right up there with El Santo.
Yeah, but that was his.
Mil Mascara.
He
big.
Yeah, my grandfather taught Mil Mascaras and his brothers.
You're kidding me.
No, he trained them, and then also El Santo was his tag team partner and is my dad's godfather, El Santo.
Holy cow.
So we were nobody was able to see El Santo without his mask. My grandfather, of course, did, but El Santo would never take off his mask for the wrestlers even. Nobody saw him without his mask.
Or
Mil Mascaras. I've still to this day never seen Mil Mascaras without his hat.
I've seen Mil one time. The only card I was on with El Santo was in Houston, and I
got to see El Santo one time. He had a dinner and had all just certain invites over to his house, and took off his mask for the dinner, and my dad, my Uncle Manos, my grandfather was there, and they actually invited me, and I was there too. Of course, I don't really remember it, but
sure. But that's how serious.
Yeah, it was serious. It was for real. So
serious.
Talking about getting stabbed. So as a kid, by the time I was around, my grandfather had already mellowed out. Now he was Grandpa Gory, and he was a nice guy and stuff. And I'd hear some of the stories, but so I'm watching TV one time, and I somebody got stabbed on TV, and I was like, "Oh, ow, that must hurt." And my grandfather goes, "No, it doesn't really hurt." And I was like I'm 7, and I look back at my grandfather like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh no, it doesn't really hurt. And he's stabbed, and he's explained it to me. I'm like, "Who is this guy?"
No.
You don't really feel it and I was like, "What?"
The 357 gives a sting, but
they shot. Speaking of someone pulling a gun on you, they shot at my grandfather when he was in the ring. They missed, and they killed a lady in the front row.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, in Mexico.
Mexico was brutal. Mm-hmm. Mexico City.
Oh yeah, they were, and back then my grandfather was they say the toughest man around. The toughest man around, and he would challenge fans. He'd go in the ring before he even stepped in the ring. Would challenge fans and slap men, and just fight. And he was the most hated heel for a long, long time. Yeah.
Maybe that, I got along great with your grandpa.
Yeah.
First thing was sir.
Sure.
That's right out of the ball, Yes,
Absolutely.
sir, no, sir, anything you want.
Right.
Need some coffee?
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
There's a couple, there's so much more, but I just I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Crazy.
Okay, but I bet you there's not too many guys on podcasts that admit the truth. So just give me a second and listen. You get a chance, Amazon.com. You'll go to the Amazon and you go to Podcast 1, ONE, and then you'll find Piper's Pit. It's only 30 years old, and you jam that, get anything you want. They kick me back lunch money, and I get my daughter through college. I gotta go pee now.
We'll be back.
Yeah, loving you.
Hi, everybody. It's good old JR Jim Ross, and man, what a Ross report we have for you. WWE legend and Hall of Famer, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, joins the show this week. Shawn was backstage at WrestleMania 30, and he was there in person when The Undertaker's streak was ended by Brock Lesnar. Wait till you hear exactly how all that went down. Shawn Michaels has got the story and so much more in one of the most provocative Ross reports ever right now at podcast1.com.
Time I hear him, man, I can't help it. It does something to me. I'm not kidding you. That's this tune on the pipes you're hearing now. It's called the Green Hills of Tyrol. And the bagpipes, it's the second hardest instrument in the world to play. But it's a war instrument. This here is a retreat. When they were out on the battlefield, they'd have different tunes, would be flank left, flank right, charge, because that was their form of communication. So every time I hear them bagpipes, I always say, I'm either going to fight or make love, baby. I'm here with the great Chavo Guerrero Jr., who... they don't call him Junior anymore. Full grown, and I have so much respect for him and his family. I've known them all, and I have so many stories. I want to tell one that I think
the feeling's mutual, brother.
Yeah.
The feeling's mutual for real.
Yeah, I know.
My
That's
family,
a shoot.
For somebody who is a white guy with the last name Piper Toombs. You're part Guerrero.
I love
and we don't
you.
say that for everybody. It's
No,
true.
sir. I'm proud. Chavo and I were talking, and our wives, the unsung heroes. I've been married 31 years. How long?
I've been married 15 years. And that's the truth. When just before I was talking to Stacy, one of the producers, the director.
She's great.
And we're really talking about it. Us being on the road, it's hard. Definitely brutal. Very, very, especially in the wrestling world. The wrestling road, You're just nonstop from one town to the next and one town to the next. You're driving here.
Sure.
And in WWE, we got, I was only on the road 4 days a week. I was home 2.5 days a week. You guys, there was some, when I grew up, I didn't see my dad for 6 months at a time.
Yes.
Because back in the day, as a kid, this is the way it happened. Now, you could either... Your father would take the family and go from one territory to the next territory and take the family with him, like The Rock. The Rock, he and I get along because we're both third generation wrestlers, and he went from town to town to town to town to town, and he'd make friends and leave them, make friends, leave them. So he was always by himself. My father let us stay in the same house and the same schools and everything, and he just went on the road.
I did the same thing.
Yeah. So which was better for us as a family, but worse for me to see my dad. I didn't see my dad for 6 months at a time, and he'd go to Japan
for home, he'd be tired.
He'd go to Japan for 9 weeks, come back for a week, back to Japan for 6 weeks, then he'd go somewhere else, and so there's
Let me ask you a question because there's so much. I mean, we'll be here a month, but it's just dawned on me I'm asking for advice.
Sure,
I'm really not asking a question. I have 4 children. I have 3 girls because I got you, God. I'm still paying. All right.
That means you were a dog in your former life. There's two girls.
And I have.
God said, "Oh, really? Okay, there's another girl for you." Oh, and girl number 2.
How much wrong could I have done? That much. But and my son that I'm very, very proud of, Colt. Colt is, as an amateur MMA fighter, is undefeated. And he's 24. But
good kid. I love him. He's a good kid. We were in Europe together. Good kid.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
You know, I don't have a home.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in a place called Saskatoon. It's like the coldest place on earth, 100 below.
I've been there.
And yeah, okay, gotcha. And then they moved me to an Indian reservation, da-da-da-da-da-da. And so the concept of a home isn't in me.
Right.
And just taking off what you just said, where your dad, Chavo, classic, wanted you to be safe and have a good shot at it. I felt the same way. But what I don't know what it would be like for Colt when he grew up through school. I'm slapping Mr. T, kicking Cindy Lot, whatever.
Right.
And please tell me, when you were going to school, because I don't know what to do for him there. He's lost a little bit right now. He's such a great kid.
Right.
How was that?
You know what? It was just the way it was. We didn't know any different. As kids of wrestlers that were on the road, we didn't know any different. And I know now because now I went through my dad's business.
Yeah.
And so I'm a lot closer to that now. I understand him a lot more now. But it was just the way it was. And then as you got older, we had famous fathers. We always won that argument. Well, my dad can kick your dad's butt. Well, I always won that one. Nobody could ever. I was like, oh, really? Yeah. Oh, you think your dad and stuff? Oh, okay. Well, we'll see.
No kidding.
Yeah. So it just was just the way it was, And
did it like? Was your dad ever a heel at one time? Or has he always been?
He was heel for sure. We're Guerreros. We're heels. We're better heels.
Yeah.
Unless
we're born heels.
Unless we're in like a Hispanic community, we're heels. We're Mexican. All over the world, the rest of the world, we're heels. What are you talking about?
Sorry, amigo. I gotcha. So, but did the rest of the kids?
This is what it takes. You know what? My sister, even though she's only 3 years younger than me, she really lost out on not having a dad there, and she's definitely got I can't say daddy issues, and that's she doesn't have that, but she has men and trust issues. I see that, and nothing anything bad. No, I'm not bagging, not ripping, but definitely, she's always worried about somebody's trying to take advantage of her, and this and I see that, and I didn't get that. But what it takes, back to the women of spouses of wrestlers, for your kids to come out good, it takes that strong woman to be your mother and your father, and it really was. And
yes.
My mother for sure was my mother and my father, but us on the road, we're the ones. Yeah, it's hard. You're traveling. Okay, we're injured. Yeah, big deal. We're with my friends, my guy friends, for 4 or 5 straight days, or 2 straight weeks, or 3 straight weeks, and we're wrestling and partying and eating steaks and and stuff,
doing
eating in
Denny's,
Denny's
Waffle houses,
eating at the AM PM too. Okay, sure, but they're the ones at home that are making sure the kids are fed, and there's they
kept them safe.
Yes, and they're the tough ones. They're the real superstars, and I see that.
Agree.
Yeah, and then now, so then my wife's a teacher. Now I'm home a lot more.
Your wife's a teacher?
She's a teacher. Yes, she teaches 7th grade biology.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
So I'm home, a lot more now. So now she's kind of turned into me. So she comes home, from the day's work, and she's like, "What do you mean these dishes aren't done?" And I'm like, but I was working out, and I was reading a script. And she's like, "I don't care. Really? I'm out working all day long." And I'm like, God, that's what I used to sound like. Man, I was a jerk. But you know what's awesome now? Is now she's the jerk.
I got it. I love it. You know, like.
But it's right. Are you true? Right? You know that I heard you say it more than one time that your wife she's a saint.
She's a saint.
For putting up with our BS.
And mine, 4'11" and a half, 100 pounds. Mm-hmm. And the only thing in the world I'm afraid of.
That's absolutely. Oh, God, are you kidding me?
What I used to do.
And the only one that will stick up to you like that. No one else in the world will stick up to you.
Shut up, Rod.
Like my wife. No one.
Let's say, one time I was really bitching.
And get away with it.
And get away with it. Yeah, there you go. Shut up, Rod.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah.
See, I tried to do this. I would wear, like the movies that I did, I would wear my wedding ring. Sometimes when I wrestled, when I did wrestling interviews, I wore it. And but you get disconnected because you're out on the road, and the phone call goes like this: "Hey, sweetheart, how's everything going? How are the kids? Good. You have a good day? Good. Boom. Next town, you're on the road for like 3 months. Yep. Hey, honey, by the time the second month, hi.
Yeah.
Everything okay? Yeah. All right. Talk to you. One time, hello, sweetheart. I can't hear you. Hello, sweetheart. Just a second. Could you turn the steaks over on the barbecue? Watch the kids in the pool over there. Don't ride that. What did you want?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Never mind. Yeah. No, for real. It's that movie with Bill Murray, The Lost in Translation, when he's in Japan. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, God, you got to see it. It's exactly like being in Japan. I mean, it's incredible. You'll relate to it so much.
I got kicked out of Japan for life.
I heard about that. I know that story.
Whoa.
That was,
It's hard to get kicked out for life.
For life, yeah. That cab driver will never be the same. I do know the story.
You do. I have a nice Korean barbecue over there, too. Unfortunately, the cab's in it. But, so I really want to get to Eddie and yourself, but I have one story I really want to tell.
Hey, right before we get there, because I'm sure I know this will turn a different place. I'm looking in my hand. I have Roddy Piper soda, bubblegum soda. This is brand new, coming out.
Brand new.
You know what, dude? We all the wrestlers stick together, and we always really push for each other.
Yeah.
At least the good ones do.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this, and it's seriously, really. Check it out. It's coming out soon. Give them the details. But Roddy Piper bubblegum soda.
All Rocket Fizzes in America. There's about 78 of them. And these are the first. I went to the bottling plant. These are the first right off the.
This is awesome.
It's cool.
This is great.
And it was made. It's all got natural stuff in it. Natural, no artificial sweeteners. And
no vodka.
And no vodka.
That was 20 years ago, but no vodka.
We had, that's why I get into this next story.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's
thank
right, for
you.
sure. No. Eddie would have loved this, for sure.
Yeah.
I know that. He would have had
Eddie would have.
Well, Eddie was the kind of guy that he couldn't be fake to you. He either liked you or didn't like you, because he wore his heart on his sleeve. He really did. He would. I've seen him take his shoes off and give them to somebody. I actually saw that. 100% saw that. But he was the kind of guy that his friends, he was so loyal. He's such a loyal guy. And it came through on TV. If you see him, that's the way it came through.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you what Eddie was like. I'd been fighting back and forth with Vince. I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
They were going to have a match. I think it was a tag or a 6-man. Myself and somebody against Eddie and somebody, and Iron Anderson was the agent, and we're down at the ring, and I'm to the point they beat me down so much, I'm just not saying anything. It's like,
sure,
whatever. And they said, why don't we put Piper over with a sleeper? And no, it's not what Vince wants. No. And there's Eddie, and he said, I'll be right back. Eddie marched in. Read him the riot act. I beat him with a sleeper.
And you know why?
That's God's true
that
story.
had nothing to do with. And I know Eddie. I had nothing to do with. Well, okay, I'm just going to make this guy look good. No, that was what was right for the night.
Yeah.
If it wasn't right for the match, then he wouldn't have called it. That was right for the match.
Oof.
And he had such a great mind for the business.
Yeah.
And really he really, really did. There's some things that in life that he wouldn't get, that'd go over his head, and there's some things that he'd get, and that was wrestling. He was so good, such a great mind.
Yeah.
He would sit and think about it, and really great instincts, and that's
And a lot of guts.
And that was
Real
what,
man.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, he had
Real
guts
man.
for sure.
Yeah. And, he went through his life, and he would hurt so much. He would never just put liniment on. He didn't take anything. I love him. I miss him.
I was okay.
I want to go
the
there.
day that he passed. Now I had talked about this before, but never said this story. So we're in Minneapolis, and he was a Super Show. We're all taking off, getting ready to go to Europe right after the Super Show. So Super Show is Raw and SmackDown were there. So everybody was there. They have the whole things planned, and I get the call at the hotel saying that something's wrong with your. I won't totally get into it because I talked about that in Jericho's podcast, and this is if I'm gonna give a story, I'm gonna give a different story.
But,
So I had the call, and security guard calls me that your uncle's passed out, and I'm like, what do you mean passed out? I'm thinking that he had a relapse because before he'd been clean for 4 years. He had some pill issues and alcohol issues.
So did I.
Yeah, absolutely. So he we went to his room. I'm like, oh, and he's passed out in his room. What are we talking about? Well, he ends up passing away right there in my arms.
Oh,
yeah, right there in my arms is what happened. And so I remember Vince McMahon and Triple H and Shawn Michaels coming to the hotel, and now I'm sitting in the hallway like, what the heck just happened? You don't really know. You're almost an out of body experience. And so they come up and they look at me and they said, of course, I'm sorry, but what should we do? And this is Vince McMahon asked me, what should we do? Should we cancel the show? And I said, absolutely not.
There you go.
Eddie would not want that show to be canceled.
No.
You keep it going. And he said, okay, well, how about we do a tribute, like to Eddie? And I said, well, okay, that's fine, that's great, but we're not canceling the show. There's people pay their money, their good hard-earned money to see us tonight, and they're all looking forward to it. And you're going to give them, now I look back and I go, they gave him something that was much more than just a Super Show. They gave him this tribute to Eddie, one of the greats.
They did a great job
in this
too.
business, absolutely. And they gave these people this, and the people. I mean, you talking about being in that arena, not just seeing, hey, a wrestling event, great. They emotionally pulled their strings, And
I was there that
I remember seeing you. That's what I was getting to. I remember seeing you in the back, and I think I just said, "Hey, what's up?" Because I was just in a I was in a zone. I was in a funk. I wasn't even there, and I remember seeing you so bummed out. I could see you down, like, man, and from my absolutely, when my dad would lose friends and you would lose friends, and my dad would say, God, another brother gone, and I saw that look on your face, that same look on your face that I'd seen my dad have, when his bros, the guys that he traveled on the road with, and he fought together, and you lived and died together. You were like not comparing it to war, because there's nothing compared to that, but that's the closest thing that we can compare it to, with no disrespect to any soldiers at all. But you're like in battle with these guys, and they're just like part of your family. And I saw that look on your face, and I saw you like there it is. You lost your son right there.
Yeah.
You lost your brother.
He's my boy too.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw that. I saw it. You can't write that look. You can't.
He's
He's
a special guy.
Yeah,
he's
for
a special
sure.
guy. And,
yeah.
I'm sure he's looking down and going, you two want to get on with it?
I know. And he's like, all right, enough about me.
Hey, but,
he's like, Roddy, choke him out already. That's what he's saying.
So, I don't know if you remember this, but I'm not going to exaggerate this at all. Gory Guerrero, when we were, Chavo and I were wrestling at the Olympic Auditorium on, was it Spanish Channel 34 or
52? Was it 52, 54?
And it went like every place.
Yeah.
And
that's the UHF channel. The UHF.
That's right.
Because back in the day, for all you young people listening,
Yes.
we had channel, and and this is even I had even more than you guys had. We had actually remotes on a TV.
I remember.
But we had channel 2, channel 4, channel 5, channel 7, channel 9, 11, and 13, and that was it. And then they had UHF channels.
And that's when the knob came with all the little numbers.
Yeah.
I can remember getting up and turning the channel.
I did too for my dad. Hey, get up, turn the channel. All right. I was his remote.
I love it.
I was his universal remote.
Okay, so Gory asks me if I would come and wrestle in Juarez and wrestle Chavo. Of course.
Sure.
Anything you want. So they bring me to El Paso, and the TV that night, I laid out the Chavo, maybe Mondo, I think Hector. I hit them with chairs. They're bleeding. And it was. You maybe can help me here. I can't remember how the TV and the match. I can't remember how much the TV was before the match. How many days? That's past me. But in any case, on television, from kind of plowed through the Guerreros kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well,
wait, they actually sold for you? I'm sure there was ulterior motive.
Yeah. And here we go. So, for those who don't know, it's time to go to Juarez, okay? And it's a bull ring.
That's right.
With real bulls.
That's right.
So, and the place is packed. Now, a bull ring is round. I'll get to it now. So, I had a new kind of style. Come on, get to it. Trunks, and they were pure white with little bagpipes on the side, which really looked like cockroaches. And they come down to just above my knee. I was just trying.
Yeah.
It's like gorgeous white. So I got those for this, and so I'm back in the dressing room there, and it wasn't really that friendly to me. I'm a young punk, and there's senior members, not of the Guerreros, of other guys. Okay.
And Juarez, Mexico, so they're all Mexican, probably going, mira este joven. Who's this guy?
Is that
who's
what
this
you're
kid?
saying?
They're probably going, who's this kid? Who's this guy think he is?
Yeah.
Punk.
Yeah. So, okay. So, now, something I learned was, and I don't know, I'll just say, for $1, you can buy rent a pillow and sit on it and make yourself more comfortable in the bull ring.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
So now, everything's going hunky-dory. Come intermission, the torrential flood comes. God decides to make it rain. Those little pads for their bums that they bought for $1, they're going about 5 pounds right now.
They soaked up all the water.
So now the people go for shelter. The rain stops, and they come back, and I'm on.
Oh, it's awesome.
I come in there, and I get in the ring, and I start wrestling Chavo, and a pillow upside the head. Oh, hit me like Ernie Shavers. Palm. I'm going, Chavo, come back. Another one, palm. Finally, it's so bad. I jump, boom. I need to get out of there. Now, here's the thing. A bull ring, I repeat, is round. Once you close the door,
right.
And people, you can't find the friggin' door. And I'm trying to get up. You got to understand, there's a sea of people around me. And Chavo was trying to help me by beating me up.
I would beat you up so they won't beat you up.
Yes, really.
Yeah. If they see, you know what? If he would have called right there and said, "Hey, start beating me up," they would have killed you.
Yeah, they were trying.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. And finally, I ripped some boards, and I finally found my way. They kicked the dog out of me. Found my way, and I got back there, and they had locked the door to the dressing room.
Yeah.
In any case, baby Jesus, that one there was a little stiff from the point of vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
Again, you got to just picture the fact that once you're in a bull ring, you can't find the friggin' door.
And there's no security like there is now. These guys are just, if there's any security at all, they're just letting you just, whatever, go ahead. So it's up to you. I'm not getting in the middle of that.
Now, and in the afternoon, I had a little tummy something, and the beautiful Mrs. Guerrero made a special chicken noodle soup for me, and so I could eat it, and that way I could find the door eventually.
Well, no. That's what you think. See, my grandmother was a worker too. Somebody had to put my family over. That was it. And they say, let me get this guy well and get him good so he can go work and lose.
Oh, we had a great time. I mean, it was dangerous, but holy cow.
That's one of those you look back and think, wow, that was awesome.
Yeah, I lived.
No drug like it in the world.
No.
Get up like that and to get yourself going and up like that, there's nothing. There's nothing.
So, like, with yourself now, I know, like, you're with the WWE and had a great career there, but you're young. You got so much more to do. Where are you? Are you going to go back to the WWE? Are you going to just kind of like,
well,
no big secret?
Right now, definitely, no, probably not, because one reason they're not calling. So
you neither?
Yeah. No, really, you know what? I'm done really traveling like that and being on the road like that and just taking the bullshit. I can't do that anymore. But I got so much things going on right now, which is awesome. I got a couple of movies that we're getting ready to do. I got a TV show that.
So wait.
Yeah.
What do they have titles to the movie?
Well, we got one movie called The Wetlands that was with director Christian Sesma, and we're actually looking for Rampage Jackson is also one of my business partners. He's in the movies also. Yeah, great guy. So he's got a fight actually tomorrow night too, the 17th.
Good luck.
Yeah. But so. They got that going on. We got just movies, and we got
what does TV show you have?
So the TV show I have is on geeknation.com. And Geek Nation, the way TV is now, it's not just Chip Fox to NBC now.
Yeah.
Now it's Netflix and Hulu and YouTube and all this stuff, and the net. So this is a talk show that I got that we talk about being about guy stuff, just guy stuff. Like I'm not trying to get guys to cry and give me all the dirt. I want to find out, hey, when's the first time you got your butt kicked? Hey, when's the first car you lost your virginity in? That kind of stuff.
Okay. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like a man show.
Yeah, exactly what it is. It's a man show.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
We got that going on. And
how do you? Is it an every week?
It's eventually I think it will be maybe every week or a couple times a month, But right now we're just getting started shooting the pilots right now, so we have 2 or 3 in the bag, and
just get started. Yeah. Make a library.
Yeah, for sure.
And then do you release them just in your plan? Are you going to release them? I don't know the internet well enough because the WWE has this network now.
Sure.
And it's not like you can air something at 8 Monday and then they can't ever see it again.
Ours is going to be you click on it, you can see it whenever you want to see it. It's up to you. It's whenever you want to see it. It'll air at a certain time, but then when you can see it, you can see it. It's almost like a built-in DVR or something like that.
Geek Nation.
Geeknation.com. Yeah, so that's coming, and we got I'm starting a possible fight league, and
really,
yeah, man, we're something that we got kicking around that we're shopping it around to a few different places right now, and me and Rampage Jackson, and it's almost like a hybrid MMA wrestling league. There's nothing like it out there. And
good job.
What's cool about this is that we just kind of brainstormed it together, and he's got the MMA connections. I've got the wrestling world connections, and it's it's kind of half shoot, half work.
Yeah.
You kind of don't know, but it's something that hasn't been done before, and what also hasn't been done before. What we were doing, and we're both very adamant on it, is giving the wrestlers an opportunity to get like a pension on it, and and having their. We don't know how we're going to do it yet. We're still in talks with that, but it's either I don't know if we're going to give a chance to get their pay. All of their pay or part of it into a retirement fund, and then we'll match some of it, like almost a 401k type thing. You got
to figure it out.
Yeah, because if you look at it, the way WCW back in the day when it actually competed with the WWE was the way it did it was that it gave wrestlers guaranteed money when no one else was doing that.
That's true.
Whether you worked 300 times or one time, you got an X amount of dollars and that was it.
Yep.
And that's how they stole all the wrestlers over. Now, we're not trying to...
Including myself.
Including you, yeah, exactly. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel because it's you can't. You could try to compete with the WWE, you just really can't. But we're doing something different, but also... we're looking to look out for the wrestlers and and the wrestlers and the fighters, and something that a lot of people don't do, but us being in the business and understanding
absolutely.
It. And you've been very adamant, adamant that
I've
way
been
in it too.
blackballed for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that fighting and wrestling, it's just too big business now. To not, and it's a
$1 billion.
It's $1 billion industry, a publicly traded company, and you guys we're still, wrestlers are still paying for their own. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but we're paying for our own rental cars and our own hotels and all this.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they're not paying well. Okay, fine, no problem. But at the same time, the percentage that we're making is very, very low. And we're looking to get back definitely to the wrestlers, and
nice.
Fans win, wrestlers win. Nice. I win. Hey, we all win. There's enough to go around, brother.
Nice. I'm just looking at you.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. You're such a together young man.
I try. It's a good worker. I've learned a little. I've learned a little.
I tell you, that word. You're not. You are sincere. You're authentic, and I because I personally have seen and know your grandfather, as we said, and your dad, and your grandma, and I'm looking at you, and Eddie, and an actor, Chavo Mondo, and it's hard acts to follow.
Oh, huge.
Big shoes, and you got no problem filling them. I mean it. I don't.
One thing that I see that they didn't do wrong necessarily, but I'm doing differently, is that they loved wrestling so much, and our whole lives was live, breathe, eat, sleep, drink. Wrestling was all about wrestling. The
family.
It was it. But wrestling's so big now that you have to take that TV time that they put into yourself. You have to parlay that into other things, because there's one thing I've learned is there's always and all you young wrestlers or anybody want to get in the business, this is something you have to learn. There's always an exit planned for you, and you either plan it or wrestling plans it. And if wrestling plans it, you are screwed.
Yes, sir.
It's gone. You're done. You're over. See you later. Bye.
Absolutely.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
You don't want to be a lifer.
That's right.
I'm a lifer. It's too hard.
It's hard. It's hard. So I'm trying to do things on my terms now for the first time, and it's like,
you've been groomed as of the best of all of them. You got such a solid head on you. You're not afraid. You're great at what you do. You're going out and you're doing other things with other Rampage. I only had the pleasure one time, but he's a good man.
He's a good dude, man. We both believe in God, and we know that that's going to lead us in the right directions, and everything works out for the right reason.
Yeah. So did you.
Oh, thanks.
That's God's truth.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I love you. You're my son, too. You know this? I got to get a couple. If you go to rowdyroddypiper.com, someday we'll have it up. You can get all kinds of, I got new villain shirts, and I got, they said that I'm the greatest villain in the history of the business. I don't know about that. But I'll take the T-shirt.
Ask your wife.
Ask my wife.
She'll tell you. Hey, what we didn't talk about real quick is that we have an app out.
What do you got?
Named Tweet Secret.
Yes, we do.
And this is something real quick, guys, that this has never really been done before, but this is a subscription from our phones. What we're filming from Roddy's phone, from my phone, from Jericho's phone, it's going directly to your phone, and you're getting exclusive content. It's like the whole new webpage.
The new thing.
The whole new thing. And I think we're just going to change the way we start doing things here.
Yeah, they get to see a lot more behind the scenes and how we really are.
Absolutely. You're going to see.
Yeah.
You want to get an inside look about us, you're going to get an inside look about us.
I've got a tour. I'm going over to the UK in July. And maybe it's Chavo.
No.
I'm going over to the UK in July to do this comedy tour. I'm going to be over there.
That's right. The comedy show. I saw that. Tell me about that.
I didn't want to go, and they were so nice. So they booked 10 days in July. I'm going to be like in Belfast, London, Manchester, Glasgow, 10 places all around. So I'm kind of getting ready for that. The RowdyRowdyPiper.com, I'm trying to make it into something that has never been seen before. So I got the bubblegum flavored soda pop. Heidi Fleiss has nothing on me, baby. And I got some dirty shorts I'm prepared to sell.
Are you going to be doing that comedy show here in the United States? Because I saw that on your Twitter page. And what's your Twitter name?
R_Roddy_Piper, Piper.
I saw that on your Twitter page, and hey, I've known you my whole life, and I don't want to just see it as a family member. I want to see it as a fan. Are you going to be doing a tour here in the United States?
Yes, I'm going to get it hot and get it worked out in England or UK rather. Then I'm going to come back in the States with it.
That's going to be huge.
I'm going to try my best and have fun. There's a guy there, Billy Kirkwood in Scotland, that I'm just throwing out too. And I'm trying to think of one thing here. We've got UK. We've got Geek. What is it?
GeekNation.com.
GeekNation.com. Okay. So we're in the Olympic Auditorium.
Oh,
no. All right.
That's what I made my debut there too.
You did?
Like when I was 23 in 1993, I knew that place, every nook and cranny of that place. I even knew Eileen Eaton's office that we couldn't go into, And
Crusher Verdue was trying to date her.
Oh my God!
Wanted the territory.
We've heard that before. Let's not even go there.
That's not okay. Sorry, right turn.
Yeah. So that I made my debut there in 1993. There was a little wrestling organization, and I went in there, and my first debut was there. And
that's very cool.
They said Chavo Guerrero Jr., and I didn't even hear it. I was so scared. I was like,
big shoes to fill.
So go back. So you were there.
All right. So
don't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
I love it. I wish I had hours here with you.
Right.
So Adrian Adonis is 22. I'm 22. And, there's Harley races there, Andre the Giant. I mean, So Mike LaBelle gave me this pocket watch that was plastic and spray-painted gold. And he made me go on television. And I'm hypnotizing Adrian. All right, watch the watch. It's swinging back and forth. You will be my partner. And, there's Harley Race, the world champ, up next looking like, what the fuck are they doing in our apartment? Yeah. What the heck are they doing? Andre the Giant, da-da-da. Bobby Backlund was in to beat me up. And you and Adrian would get into trance. Okay. So, in all respect, the people around there, they were very religious, very poor. And people started coming to get help. And Mike LaBelle put me upstairs in the balcony in the hallway with this table that the legs were cattywampus on them, and the cheapest red candle. And there's a line the first day, I got to make it up, 15 people. I can't stop smoking. Okay, you will stop. All right, next week.
Wow, they're believing it, huh?
Next week, 50. And I'm going, and finally this gentleman, he breaks down crying, and his wife's got, I'm out of here.
Wow.
And that's the way that Garibaldi and I started going different ways, was they, what the Guerrero family has is honor and pride and honor. There's some things they just will not do for money.
Right.
And I think that the guys that are the real deal in our world, no, man. No, I'm not hypnotized. I can't hypnotize nobody. And I'm not taking anything away from it.
It's called integrity. And that's something that I've said this before. There's no amount of money in the world that can buy that. You either have it or you don't have it.
Yeah.
You can be the poorest man in the world with the most integrity, or the richest man in the world with none.
How old are your kids?
11 and 14.
You're a rich man.
That's huge credit. Are you kidding me?
I was doing that.
I've already won.
Yeah.
Wife.
and hug them.
Yeah.
Hug them because they grow up, you know. And
You're not kidding.
I got so many other things. All right, I'm getting the high sign here. What an honor. What an honor.
Thank you for having me.
And
man.
again, like, you're like the best. It's all the best put together. They're so proud of you. And
Sooner or later, I'm going to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
One of these days. I make mistakes all along the way, but I'm going to figure it out.
Never learned anything by doing it right. You can't,
Right.
What is it? Never a sailor was made on a calm sea. So an Irish poem for you. Billy Kirkwood in Scotland, I'm going to have you soon. Going to be over there. See you folks. For those who love us, may God bless. For those who don't, may God turn their hearts. And if he can't turn their hearts, may he turn their ankles so we recognize them by their limp. Have a good one. Till next Piper's Pit. My love to all the Guerrero family. If you go and you see a Guerrero, you go in, you'll see the best. I love you with all my heart. Bye-bye.
Download new episodes of Piper's Pit every Monday at podcastone.com. That's podcastone.com.